The 15-Point Plan is part of the Win, Make, Give podcast network.
Welcome to the 15-Point Plan. Chad Himes here, getting us started on another one of our podcast episodes, joined by one of my favorite people, Jillene Snell. Jillene, good to be here with you today.
Hello, me too. Thank you.
Well, love having these opportunities, and we're going a little different today. It's not going to be just you and I bantering back and forth on some topic. We actually went and got an expert to bring in on this topic. So we're going to continue talking about movement, because that's where we are in our conversation going through the 15-Point Plan. And Jillene, I couldn't have thought of anybody better than a personal trainer to bring onto this call about movement. Wouldn't you agree?
I think it's time. Yeah, I can't wait to hear from Jay.
Okay, so there you go. We're bringing our friend Jay on here. Jay Balsamo. He's based over in Georgia. We're going to have him come on, introduce himself, and then I'll tell you the truth about him after he tells you what he wants to say. So Jay, welcome to the 15-Point Plan, and introduce yourself to our audience.
Well, thank you, Jillene and Chad, for having me. My name is Jason Balsamo. I've been a personal trainer going on about 22 years now. I've basically, I think, done it all from, the boutique studios to working with 500-pound people, working with ex-athletes, hockey players, football players, the everyday person, Orange Theory, just really, getting a dynamic in and really educating myself on everything in the fitness world. So that's what I've been doing. Quick little more info about me. I have 3 wonderful kids, a beautiful wife, and they deal with me on a daily basis, which is a great thing.
And I can vouch for that because I've met those 3 wonderful kids and the wonderful wife as well. They are fantastic people. And his wife is actually a nutritionist as well. So what a combination that they bring to everybody. So Jay, people can't see you. They're just hearing the podcast. You're not a small guy, though.
No. Not a small guy, and I can go back even a little further before I became a personal trainer. I was a chef for a few years, and I went to the extreme of being 305 pounds, which was always something I never would fit into for me and my lifestyle for being an athlete for so long. And that ultimately, that road of that struggle of losing that, weight of going back down to 195 pounds really opened up my eyes. And that's kind of the lead into where I got into fitness and, working with people and understanding. And I think really what you guys are talking about today and some of the questions that we're going to go through really hits home for me because of the understanding of, kind of getting off your butt and get your body moving. It's not going to be easy every day, but it's going to be worth it.
Jay, how tall are you?
6'2".
And 6'2" wide also, would you say, in those shoulders? I mean, you're not a small guy, Jay.
It's about 6'2", 215 now, which I'm doing good. Not complaining about that. And again, just being able to get up off the couch and, go outside, play soccer, play football, go for a walk with my kids and the dogs. I mean, that's what it's come down to, right?
Absolutely. Now, Jillene, you had the chance. You were leading training classes for years. You did, I think it was a decade that you were doing the classes that you have been teaching. Jay also has been doing this for a long time. And I will tell you, folks, when you walk into a room, there are certain people as a trainer who you say, yep, I don't care what they tell me. I'm going to do what they say because I want to look like that.
Heck yeah.
Right? Jay's one of those guys. I had the pleasure of meeting Jay through Orange Theory Fitness years ago. Nita and I decided to become Orange Theory Fitness members. Jay was that coach who was just there. He's got that military type personality of I'm going to yell at you and get the most out of you and push you to a point that he jumped up onto the treadmill when I was running and just kept speeding it up on me. He said, you can go faster. Let's go. Sometimes we need a trainer like that. Sometimes it's probably illegal to have a trainer like that. So make sure you know who these people are that you have around you. Jay, let's get right to it. What made you want to become a personal trainer and get into this industry, helping people with their health?
Love that question because, again, it's, I've always was an athlete. I always played sports. My family was always, if it wasn't running at night or going for a walk or playing sports. And, when I hit that, bump in the road for a few years and gained all that weight, I'll send my buddy Scott Lifer a shout out. When I moved to Colorado, he looked at me, he goes, I don't know what happened to you, but you got to do something about it. And I did. And I think that feeling, and, it took me about 3 months to lose all that weight, 105 pounds. It really just came down to effort. It came down to a mindset. So I'm like, if I can do it, why can't I help other people to do it? And initially, some trainers get into it for the money aspect. Some trainers get into it because they want to get up and get into that next level. I really just fell in love with it. I fell in love with it. And I think like somebody like you, Chad, you can see it's all heart when it comes to me. I don't like to sugarcoat anything. I kind of am nice within those first few sessions and, try to figure out every person that I can and what kind of their style is. But leading into it was really, knowing that I can do something in a short period of time. Why can't I, have other people do that also? Maybe they've been having the excuse for a year, for 6 months, for 5 years, for 10 years. Why can't I be able to get into it? And I think secondary to that is I really wanted to be that person that saved somebody's life. They didn't have to go in, take a medication. They didn't have to go under the knife. They didn't have to, see a doctor 3 days a week to take certain medications just to get through that, or some kind of fad diet to lose 30 pounds but gain 40 back. So really initially it's my heart, the love for it and the love for people, and saving people's lives, because that's what we do. I mean, if you're serious about fitness, you're going to save somebody's life, even if it's one or it's 100. That doesn't matter. If as long as it's one in my book, that's what I'm going for.
Wow, that's a really big impact there that you're making. I'm a little curious. I heard you say something about your activities and always remaining active. And it sounds like that's not just with formal exercise that has like a title to it,
Nope.
Like squats or lunges or going to the gym. It sounds like you subscribe to something that is probably a little bit of everything. Would you talk to us about how you encourage your clients to find balance between those formal exercises and just staying active?
I think it's, a lot of people that I deal with on a daily basis are families, right? We got young kids, some are now teenagers. How do you keep up with that on a daily basis? You have a full-time job, right? You have kids, 2, 3 kids, or even 1 or 4. It's just getting out there and being yourself. We hear lifestyle changes, we hear fads. I just really prescribe people. We don't have to do HIIT 24/7. You can go and sit watch a movie with your kids or with your spouse and stretch out. Right, you can put a CD, and I know that sounds old school, or just go onto your Fire Stick and do a yoga class with your family, or just like my neighbors around here in this beautiful area that I live. Everybody walks their dog. I mean, it's just getting out there. It's just being active in a sense of getting your body up, moving, getting that blood flow. And initially what's going to happen is just going to kick in those good feels. You're going to feel great, even if you're going for a walk and it's just 20 minutes up the street with your family. You're bonding with your family. You're building a lifestyle of health and wellness. And hopefully that answers that question. But
Yeah. I like how you're
kind
combining that with family time, right?
yeah.
Because
Mhm.
that's most important to most families, is like having that time together, but also making it active. I know one thing I do too to stay active in my daily life is like park at the back of the parking lot at the office or the back of the parking lot at the grocery store. So I'm actually forced to make that walk, right?
Mhm.
Or maybe walk to dinner if I can, so I know I have to walk home. And
Exactly.
it's being intentional about finding more ways to move, it sounds like. Now, if we are getting that time, that active time,
Mhm.
and yet we're not quite reaching our health and fitness goals, and maybe we have some certain struggles, like at what point in this process do you feel like it's important to hire a personal trainer?
It comes down to it, and I'll go back to my first job ever. My boss, Christian, he had a 10 questions. He's like, bring this to the client when you sit down with them. Don't ask them a word. Read their answers, and then you're gonna move forward. He's like, I will guarantee 90% of the people will talk themselves into doing what they never thought they wanted to do. So in saying that, what do you say? And it's kind of a simple question. How serious are you? Is it a 1 to 10? Now, if somebody gives me a 2 or a 3, they're kind of just walking in the door and saying, I just want to look at what's in here, right? And you see somebody who's a 9 or a 10, you're just like, okay, so this person's writing a 9 or a 10. Those two people are kind of exactly alike, because I don't care if you're a 2, I don't care if you're a 9, you walked into that door for something. You walked into that gym for something. You gave me a phone call. You shot me a text. You get me an email. So getting a trainer at the right time, it's going to be personally up to that person, what your goals are. And that's going to lead into something about, is that the right trainer for you? Is Jay the right trainer for Jillene? Are you want that somebody that's going to be like, hey, we're going to do this. I know it burns. I know it hurts. I know it stinks. We still got about 10 minutes left. So we're going to push through this, compared to a Chad where I know, hey, I can get up on a treadmill. I know I can put a 0.5 on that speed because I know his mental process and I know he's going to do it. And I know he's going to be thankful for it. So the process of getting a trainer in at the right time, I mean, it's a 50-50 response for me because you have to be 110% serious about doing it. I've trained people, and I don't want to sound like a horrible person, but I've trained people, and after a month, I just said, this isn't for you. I'm not the person for you. I can say, hey, move on to this. This is going to be a better starting point. It might be a stretching class. It might be a yoga. It might be a biking class. So I think really it just comes down to the mindset of that person at that time to say, hey, I can't do this by myself. I need somebody. Make that phone call.
So that's what I'm hearing right there. You just summed that up, I think, to answer the question that Jillene was asking is, how do we know when it's time? It's got nothing to do with physical attribute. It's not, I'm overweight. It's not, oh, wait, I'm in shape. It's, am I mentally ready to have someone just help me get to the next level?
Yes. Yep. And that's 100%. And I'm lucky enough to have done this for a long time, just even sitting with somebody and, seeing the body expressions and the facial expressions to really see where you're at. I mean, you could read somebody pretty easily, especially if you've been doing certain things for a long period of time. And understand that. And it's okay as a trainer for me to say to them, again, you're not ready for this. That's okay. But I'm going to help you get started. It's not going to be with me, but this is what we're going to do. We're going to start walking with your family. You're going to start parking further away from the supermarket. And that's going to start building up that mentality for that lifestyle change that ultimately what you're looking for. And again, it doesn't matter if you're overweight, you need to lose 300 pounds, if you want to play for the Atlanta Braves, or you just want to be able to get up out of the seat without pain. So,
Jay, nobody wants to play for the Atlanta Braves. All right.
I don't. I was going to say New York Yankees, but being here, I got to watch my back out here. So
now, you were saying as you were going through that, and we were talking about, so how do I know the right type of personal trainer? How do I know to identify the right person for me? What kind of things should I prepare for before I go find a personal trainer? And then once I know what I'm looking for, how do I even know where to find a personal trainer? For all of our audience members listening, saying, it's time for me.
So great question. And this is something that I learned along the way, especially with Orange Theory and hiring on trainers myself as being a head coach or being an area director is the first thing we actually go to is social media. You can go to a Facebook page. You can kind of see and read what people are doing on a regular basis. Right now, I don't say that 110% of the time do that, but that's a good starting point to see. Pictures speak a million words, right? You can see what this person does on a daily and how they are interacting. Do they have videos of themselves and their clientele? Are they working out on a daily basis or a bi-daily basis? Another great way is really going into the closest gym around you, going to 2 or 3 gyms and kind of going through. And I even do this myself. I go to One Life Fitness right up the road and I'll watch the trainers around me and I see how they interact. I see how they train. Is it the same? You have a 60-year-old client and for 30 minutes and then 30 minutes later they do a 14-year-old client and they're doing the same workout. Right? That's just not going to be a consistent trainer that I want to bring onto myself because they're just 30 minutes at a time looking just to make that paycheck. Nothing against people that want to do that, but that's kind of the interaction that I see. So getting on social media, getting to your local gyms, talking to your friends and family. Have you ever used a trainer before? Have you used a yoga instructor before? Do you have anybody in mind? And I think that's going to be the best way because I can go to somebody and they say I have 2 degrees and I have 7 certifications, and I could, hey, put me through a workout for 30 minutes. And they could have all these guidelines and all these certifications and turn around and be like, okay, I'm moving on. I'm going to go find somebody else. And then ultimately, really, it's looking at that trainer and saying, hey, will you give me a free workout to sit down with you and kind of see how it works out? I do that for every single client. I want you to come in, we do a free workout. If we're meshing off that point, and you should be able to mesh with somebody within 45 minutes to an hour, if it's a little longer, just sitting and talking, I think that's just the best way. So social media, getting to your local gyms, finding out somebody that has used a personal trainer before, those are just really great assets to really look for somebody that might fit with you. And you might go 2 or 3, 4 trainers before you find that person that you really mesh with, because most people that want to use a personal trainer, they're going to be sticking around for a while, not for 1 or 2 months. It's going to be like a family member ultimately at the end.
I really like that last tip. Being willing to interview maybe even before choosing the right one for you. Because do you see more longevity in that? In following that approach where they really take their time to find the right one?
Yes. And I found that a lot, especially, in an Orange Theory and a Burn Boot Camp and those style settings. That's more the group fitness, but it is still, you want that one-on-one feel, even if you have 36 people there, to really watch the interaction. And you might have to we bring in 10 or 15 people at a time, and you want to see how these people interact, because ultimately, again, when you're in a position like that, you're the representation along with that trainer. So if somebody comes in and I want to bring a trainer on and they're training Mike, Joe, and Andy, and Sarah knows 2 of my clients, I don't want them being like, oh my gosh, I can't believe Jay recommended that guy. You want to have the ability to say, wow, Jay recommended that guy. Tell him thank you. Amazing job. We love what we have. Or, hey, do you have another recommendation? We're really not clicking right now.
I love that you said the longevity piece of it also. This person becomes like a family member, because Jillene and I, through this whole 15-point plan, we're bringing our actual experiences. We're not just making up stories and sharing it with you. The birth of your 3rd child, my wife and I were at the hospital within 24 hours.
Yep.
Nita and I came because you became such a part of our family. You moved from one gym to another gym. We followed you. That didn't matter to us that we had to drive a little bit farther. When you find a trainer that gets you and you mesh with that, don't let that person out of your world. That's the same thing, Jillene, as we talk about in business. It's having that coach, right? A trainer is just another fancy word for coach.
Coach, yeah.
Right. And it's helping you get to where you're going. So Jay, what are some of those, you mentioned in there certifications, you mentioned in there, you've been doing it a long time. You mentioned, what are some of those key things I should look for when I am choosing a trainer? I'm completely new, whoever I am. I'm completely an audience member here who says I need one.
Yeah.
What are like the 3 or 4 things I should look for to say that this person's even qualified to be my trainer, not someone who watched a YouTube video?
Yes, because that's the scary thing now. You can do everything online. I can go spend $100 and get certified in 6.5 minutes, right? And say, I'm a certified trainer. And I'm going to put a second part to that question at the end, if you guys don't mind. But ultimately, what we like to look for is, do you have a degree in exercise science? Do you have a degree in exercise physiology, right? And that seems to kind of be the bigger thing that people are doing now. Or are you going to go to some of those top, the ISSA, the ACE, the NASM? Are these, we know these are high-end, the top 3 and top 5 certifications that you can do, because they have it's a lot of time. You can't just go. But you can buy the books and take the test, but you're probably not going to pass it if you don't have that background or that understanding of the human body. So really, if you're looking at people and they have those degrees, right, or they have those top-notch certifications, those are kind of the first things you want to look at. And I kind of just hit on it before. It's, doing your homework and seeing those NASMs, those ACE, those ISSAs, those exercise science, exercise physiology degrees. And, a lot of people will proudly put that on. If you walk into their house, you walk into, say they have an office at the gym, you're going to look behind you and they're going to have those things proudly up there, because they're proud of going through 4 years of school, or they're doing, 6 to 8 months of learning online or at home. So those are very important things to look at, are those top end certifications and degrees. are huge. Now, I'm not saying that's the one way to go, because I've hired on people that have all the certifications, all the degrees, and they just don't have that. They don't have the it, right? They don't have that. I can't understand my 5 clients. I don't understand that. I know every muscle in the body and I can tell you every single one, but I don't know how to build a relationship. So I also look at, how long have you been doing this, right? If you're straight out of school, how many clients have you worked with? All right, well, I had one. I'm not going to look to hire on somebody at Orange Theory that has one, unless their personality is really through the roof and I can coach them to be that person that we're looking for in that specific workout. So really going by looking at people and how much they've already done and put into it is going to give me a better understanding. And I'll tell you, 80% of the people that I work with might have 1 or 2 certifications, but they just get it. They get it. They understand it. They know how to work with people. And the biggest thing for me, Chad, like you know, it's the heart. There's no BS. There's no sugarcoating anything. What you get, what you see is what you get. So again, getting into it all comes back to that process of just working with somebody once or twice, looking to see if they have the right certifications, yes, and moving forward there.
That's super helpful, Jay. I have a direct question for you. What's the number one reason why people fire their personal trainer?
Ooh.
Number one reason, I think, again, it's just a gel between the client and the trainer. Somebody who I know, for doing this for so long, I know how to, and Chad might not like this, but I know how to tone it down now. It's not a high intensity Orange Theory. Let's go all out, 12 miles an hour, 5% incline. Chad, I need that 6% incline because I know you're going to get up that hill just as fast as anybody else. So let's go. I need you to push it. Now, with doing in-home training, especially after what happened this last year, I don't have a microphone. I have the music, but I don't use a treadmill, right? So the number one reason I think why people get fired is they're not understanding their clientele. They're just Googling a workout. They're just going through a workout saying, oh, this is going to be the best for you. Meanwhile, they're trying to do a CrossFit workout when this person is really trying to be an endurance runner. Right? You're not going to coincide lifting heavy and doing 3-5 reps and doing AMRAPs and doing EMOMs and getting as many reps as possible, as many rounds as possible.
Thank you for taking that to English for our audience. It's like, wait, you're talking CrossFit terms.
On the lingo. And, I think it's understanding the clients and understanding their goals ultimately, and not building a relationship with that person or people. That's going to be the number one reason why a trainer is going to get fired. Definitely.
How often is it the results don't show up fast enough and I just think it's your fault as my trainer? Like, what's the commitment on my side? I would think that's the number one reason is I'd look at a week in the mirror and I'd be like, wait a minute, I don't look like Schwarzenegger after my first week or something like that. You're fired. It's your fault.
Yes.
What's the commitment on our part for those of us that are listening here and those audience members who are looking to get a personal trainer? How much of the commitment is our part and how much of the commitment is the trainers to help us get there?
So the commitment with the trainer is, hey, you're going to be with me 3 hours a week, right? That commitment's going to happen. You're going to be there. I'll go through this morning at 7 a.m. and we kind of switch times with some clients and they're walking out like this. And I'm like, let's go. We got to get, it's that mindset. We got to get going. Okay. After 5 minutes, they know they're there. They're going to get into it. Okay. So on the reasoning behind why a lot of things don't happen is, I don't want to say it's ultimately that client, but again, when I train somebody, I am not there for the 23 other hours, right? I've done it. I'm crazy enough to where I have done it when I lived in Hilton Head Island, where I'm putting these people through workouts, and I'm, my last client of the day, I'm just going to follow them home because we were at a gym, and I'd watch them, and they'd go through McDonald's on the way home. Right? So I'm texting them. I'm like, hey, great workout. What are you doing right now? Well, I'm on my way home. Okay, so you're not in the drive-through McDonald's line. And it's like, what? How did you know that? I'm right behind, 2 cars behind you. So that's kind of the thing. And, I don't want to get into a whole nutrition talk about it. But that's ultimately it. If you're saying you're a 10 out of 10, Chad, and you want to do this, you got to give me 90 days. You got to give me 3 months. It's not going to happen overnight. If you want to lose 10 pounds, you probably gain that 10 pounds over an 8 to 12 month period of time. You're not going to lose it in 2 weeks. So the understanding of lifestyle change is it's got to be a lifestyle change. And if you're not committed to that lifestyle change, you're probably not going to get to where you want to be. You might lose 3 pounds and be like, all right, well, again, Jay's not doing it for me. I'm going to go try the next trainer. And, they charge a little less and, maybe I can afford them and do a little longer with them. And then it just becomes that ultimate roller coaster where you're up, you're down, you're up, you're down. So I would say it's if you're looking at a percentage, it's got to be an 80-20 up to that client. They have to put the work in when the trainer's not there. But if you're that trainer and you're that good of a trainer, hey, I know you had a rough week. Text me. If you feel like you're going to make a bad decision with A, B, and C, text me. We'll talk, whatever you need. So it's not just going there and telling somebody to lift or to run. It's being there for them through everything. And that's what I talked about when it's a family member and it becomes somebody that's part of your life on a daily basis. So 80-20, I'll put that 20% on the trainer. So
I can't speak for everyone else, but I feel like I would really enjoy that, having a personal trainer who I could actually text or have that accountability back and forth. Actually, Chad is that person for me, but he does it for free. I don't know if I should say that on the podcast, but
you're in trouble now. You confessed.
I know. I sent him my run yesterday and he's like, you should be running further. I'm like, hey, can't you just say, good run, Jillene? No, he's got to push me just a little bit.
Wait a minute. I think I said good run first and then said, now you need to be running farther. Let's be clear. And I learned that from Coach Jay, right?
There you go.
Yes.
Always saying, hey, you only got this far in today's class. You could have gotten farther. All right, Jay, as we get near the end of this, our audience is sitting there. They're still listening. And they're saying, I don't know that I'm ready for a trainer yet, but I got to get off this sofa. Right? I'm listening to a podcast that's on health and energy and happiness. I know how they're all connected. I got to do something. So there's people like Jillene and myself. We're a little extreme, right? I'm going to go run that Spartan race tomorrow. And burpees are fun in my world, right? Things like that. Yet that's not everybody. What's the message you would send to our audience members who are not into exercise as much as we know they should be, because health is the foundation of everything? But what's like step one we could give as a generic message to anybody listening?
Step one, it's almost just like a business plan, right? I've worked with people that have never worked out in their life. And before I even do anything with them, I have them kind of write up a business plan, a fitness plan per se, right? You have to have a direction on the starting point. So my starting point with people, before I've even stepped foot in their house or at the gym with them, it's as simple as, hey, you have a kitchen chair, you have a kitchen bench. I just want you to sit down, stand up 10 times. All right? You're going back and forth. You have to use the bathroom. There's one downstairs. Walk upstairs, take the 2 flights, go upstairs, use the restroom upstairs, and you got to come back down the stairs. And simple things like that, all right? If you're going, and I've seen people in my neighborhood pull up to their mailbox, open a mailbox from their car window, grab the mail, and come it in. Park your car, go inside, put your pocketbook down, whatever. Go walk back out to the mailbox. I mean, those little tiny adjustments are going to just give the mentality. It's going to build up that mentality. It's going to give you, again, it's all about those good feels and feeling good about yourself and being like, okay, I've done that now, Jay. What's the next step? Well, how do you feel? I feel a little bit more engaged with my body. I want to move forward with you. So again, it's not always about just working out or something like that, but you have to start with a fitness plan. What's your plan? What do you ultimately want to do? And again, if you have a really good trainer, it's not just, hey, let's start working out, let's do this, because what happens? You're going to train somebody, they're going to be sore for 3 days, and they're going to dislike it. And they're going, I got to do that again. I'm not going to be able to walk up my stairs because of what we just did 2 days before. And that's a big failure on the trainer's aspect of why people don't want to do it, or it's just too much. So simple things. Don't use your hands when you get off the couch. Try to use your lower body strength. Take the stairs if you have a restroom upstairs. Walk around if you're at home and you're on the computer all day and you're working, which a lot of people are now due to COVID. Every 30, 45 minutes, set a timer. go do something, walk around the house, go up and down the stairs, set a 5-minute timer. When it goes off, go back down to work. And do that 3, 4, 5 times a day. And that's just going to be a little kickoff to get people moving in the right direction.
Wow. All right. So, folks, that's moving, right? Jillene and I are going to keep telling you, though, to earn that movement check mark on the 15-point plan, we're talking about getting some exercise in there. Now, for you, that might be walking to the mailbox and back. It might be walking that dog. But to remember, what we really define that as is achieving a 70% of your maximum heart rate for a 20-minute minimum during a day to really be able to check it off on your 15-point plan as you're taking yourself and tracking your day. But Jay's giving you some great points because some of you, you're just sitting on the sofa. Get up, just climb the stairs, use the upstairs bathroom, right? Little things like that just to get your body moving first and foremost. Now, Jay, at the beginning, when you were giving us your intro, you talked about celebrities and athletes and other people you've worked with. So, of course, I got to ask this. Your favorite coaching client of all time was?
Name, here's this guy. It's kind of slipping my mind for it. Let me think hard here. It starts with a C. I think it's Chad.
There you go.
Yes.
All right.
Chad. And I gotta say, Nita's right there, right behind you. I gotta say, you two were definitely. And if she's there, tell her we love her and miss her. But I don't want to take too much time off of here, but when you guys leave and moved away, that was just as hard on, me and Kristen as being, not just trainers, nutrition people to you, but being those friends and building that community. It's not, it's, you gotta realize too, it's hard on the trainer coach also, when you lose good people like that. And, thank God we can stay in touch with each other, but I kind of want to just throw that little tidbit in there.
There you go. Folks, find a trainer that becomes family. Jay, if people are listening to this and they want to get in touch with you, they're hearing this and they're like, that's my trainer. I mean, I don't care if he's in Atlanta, I'm not, or hey, some of our listeners are in Atlanta, or they just want to ask you some follow-up questions. How can our audience get a hold of you after this podcast?
Well, you could find us on synergyhealthwellness.com, www.synergyhealthwellness.com, and Jay at synergyhealthwellness.com. You could email me directly. I don't want to put my phone number out there. If that's something Chad wants to do later or Jillene wants to do later, that's completely fine. I mean, that's just who I am. I am open as anybody to answer, to help any questions. So again, Jay at synergyhealthwellness.com. Shoot me an email. I will get back to you as soon as I can. Yeah.
All right. So we've got a personal trainer telling you how it is. Heck, I've got my partner here on this podcast who's been training people for 10 plus years, telling you how it is, folks. We are here to help you get your energy levels up. We are here to help you be happier by having the health you deserve by being here on the 15-point plan. This is why we bring you these podcast episodes and why we bring you people like Jay to come talk with you. We hope this episode takes your energy to the next level, and we hope you're joining us in our Facebook group, facebook.com/group/win-make-give, so we can continue these conversations after each and every one of these episodes airs. Until our next episode, on behalf of Jay and Jillene, get out there and go do something today.